Wake up, everybody. It's Friday. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's episode 651. Bengals Friday. It's Black Friday. The day after Thanksgiving. I gotta tell you, my Thanksgiving was probably the best tasting dinner I've ever had.
Ooh.
I ain't gonna lie. It may have been the best Thanksgiving dinner I've ever had by taste. It was actually unbelievable. Everything I ate was delicious. And you know how when you eat somebody else's dinner, somebody else's food, you always find that one thing that kind of pushes you away. And you're like, all right, I'm done. Maybe it's jiggly or fat or something on your food. But there was not one thing wrong with this meal, and it was unbelievable. Not
That's
one.
awesome.
I kept looking and waiting and just waiting for something to go wrong. Nothing. Every single thing was delicious. I do have a question though. When did macaroni and cheese make its way to the Thanksgiving table? I think I think it fits in good and it goes well, but it wasn't always there. It's just like all of a sudden at one point macaroni and cheese became a part of the Thanksgiving meal. I like it, but I'm just wondering if anybody knows when that started.
I don't hate it.
No, I definitely don't hate it.
No, it wasn't. There was no mac and cheese at our family's table until maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah, about
15
years ago.
About the time that my sister had her kids and they started getting into foods like that, macaroni and cheese started showing up and it just became a staple. And I thought it was us, but then eventually I started seeing it on social media. So whatever.
Right.
I don't hate it.
See, I definitely don't hate it. We've always had macaroni and cheese and at ours. So when people started saying it was, oh, this is something new. Like you said, like on social media, you start seeing it more and more. But no, we've always had, my house, my family, we always had mac and cheese, man. It was a staple for years. And Ryan, anything you want to say to the chef? Anything
No, let's just go ahead and get started. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. Mike did make the Thanksgiving dinner. I was going to leave that out if he didn't.
No.
Beat it out of me.
Yes. That I cooked for the studio. Yes.
Everything was good in that meal. Everything. There was nothing. There was nothing that wasn't delicious. And again, that blows my mind. There's always one thing. There's always one thing that you walk away and you're like, yep, I'm done. Yeah.
Now, see, if I fail at this whole podcast business, I have something to look forward to. I can fall back and be a caterer. Apparently.
Yeah.
Cater everyone's Thanksgiving dinner. You come charge me. I'll charge you like you supply everything. I'll come cook it for you. My ego is big enough for the three of us. The truer words have never been spoken on this podcast.
Well, I have truer words. You just relax a minute because now it's my turn. You had your time to do all your talking, Mike. Now it's my turn.
I love Ryan spends like 10 minutes in an intro talking. I get this much. It's like, okay, you had your time. Which is fair enough.
It was brought to my attention on our Wednesday show. Somebody reached out to me. I didn't even notice this. I'm not observant like that, but this was brought to my attention during the show on Wednesday. I have it all right here in this piece of paper written down. Mike, was it your lunch hour, or were you just really ready for Thanksgiving on Wednesday during the show? Let me tell you, there was 21 times you put something in your mouth during the course of the show on Wednesday, whether it be your coffee cup, whether it be the beer, whether it be whatever it was that you were eating. And I have to find out what you're eating. But Mike, I have to, there's times that you put something in your mouth during the course of an hour on the show. I couldn't believe it. Once I wanted to get the exact, I wanted to make sure this was fake or this was not fake. Mike, 3 minutes and 47 seconds into the show Wednesday, you were already drinking your beer. 4 minutes, 23 seconds later,
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
8 minutes and 38 seconds. Beer. At 9 minutes and 2 seconds, coffee. At 10:56 into the show, you snuck something into your mouth. I couldn't tell what it was. There was definitely chewing.
Starburst. I was twisting apart small pieces of Starburst.
At 13:29, coffee. 16:04, coffee. 22:06, coffee. 27:31, beer.
Another one.
31:55, beer. 37:42, beer. 39:17. You were chewing on something.
Starburst.
From 39:17 to 39 was the chewing. And then again, so that finished at 39:56. At 40:25, more chewing until 41:03. So in between this time, when you're not chewing, you're doing this thing with your tongue. You're cleaning in between your cheek and your teeth. Right there.
Starburst got stuck.
So then,
are you on drugs?
So that was 41:03.
No, I don't have any with me right now.
Yeah, what's going on? I think this is lunch hour for him.
Well,
he thinks this is lunch hour. Wait, Mike, please. Yeah, Mike, I'm just starting the second column. Hang on. At 41:03, you finished your chewing. At 41:03, you finished your chewing. At 42:41, you stuck something else in your mouth, and you chewed until 43:42. At 44:18, more beer. 47:12, beer. 53:31, beer. 53:39, stuck something in your mouth again. 57:24, beer. 1 minute 3 seconds and 1:03, beer. And 1:05:26, beer. 21 different times. And just to put this in comparison to make you, put it in a way you can understand.
1 hour.
In 1 hour, Finch took 4 drinks. Averaged out to be every 15 minutes, Finch took a drink. You averaged every 3 minutes.
Okay.
Every 3 minutes, you were shoving something into your face. So the question was, Mike, did you think that it was Thanksgiving starting early? It was your lunch hour? I mean, there's different. I mean, of the 23 hours of the day, that was the day that you chose to eat during that whole hour. So go ahead.
I went to work.
Explain yourself.
I had to work. I worked from 2 to 9 at 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. I worked.
They don't let you eat at work? Okay, good.
I get a 15-minute break, and I'm running around making sure everyone's getting all their stuff done right, helping out people who need help. I put in miles. I put in miles at work. I come home. I did not eat. No, I did eat. I did eat a little bit, but
you ate dessert as well.
I ate after I got home. Yeah, I needed to eat. Okay. I was hungry. I ate. Had a cup of coffee. I knew that was a mistake, so I made a second one. Big mistake. I was thirsty, and I just kept, I needed my beer. And then I remembered, I had Starburst left over from work as a little pick-me-up. I was just breaking off little pieces and chewing on them. Then on the last one, I said, fuck it, and just threw the whole thing in my mouth. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I've been up now for probably 12 or 10 hours right now. So this is like dinner time for me, boys.
I mean, like,
it's been a long night, long day.
That's like the minimal time to do a show. You figure if you could last an hour, okay.
I can't.
I don't have to get up and go to the restroom, anything like this. It's an hour. You manage to shove something every 3 minutes. You get on.
Longer. I had a little. I try not to eat.
It was I couldn't believe my eyes when I was watching. I thought maybe 10 times.
I know. Like as soon as you
21 different times.
Well, then, I'll get dehydrated with the lights on me and all the work I've done. If I didn't drink enough, I know, right?
Listen to this guy,
right? The 2 lights that I have are just so overpowering. It's
your little Walmart ring light is just too much heat.
No.
The LED is really putting it out.
The one I bought online, the one on this side over here is a very nice one. Very nice one. This one over here, yes, is a cheap Walmart light, but this one over here is putting out some serious heat, man.
So just in case anybody did recognize this, on Wednesday we recognized too. And we are just as embarrassed as you are. So just hang in there. We're going to be okay.
I'm not. Like, I am embarrassed about
Mike,
eating
because
on
you only have
stream.
50 minutes of the show left. I mean, come on. How much can you possibly shove in your face in the next 50 minutes? But we'll give it a try. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the 2W's. This is episode 651. Good morning, everybody. It is Bengals Friday. Guys, a lot of things going on this weekend in sports. We're here to talk about it all. We're going to start with a couple games in the NFL yesterday. Guys, the Thanksgiving Day games in the NFL. I do want to say good morning. Good morning, the Field of Steel, my man. Great seeing you on this Bengals Friday. Let me see. What did Phil say? He says, cheers, Chief Hunglow, Jasper, and Winslow. Super stuff. Let's talk versus Bengals. As Finch said, offense better show up Sunday. That's the key to a dub because I know the Steel D will show up. I agree, guys. We'll get into the Steelers. We have a lot to say. We're going to get into over-unders. We're going to get into predictions, things like this. Guys, let's just blow through these Thanksgiving games real quick. The first game of the day was the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. First half, I'm watching this game. I'm thinking, yes, the Lions, they're just that good. Very, very powerful. The Bears are going to lose by 100. But as the NFL has seemed to have been doing the past few years, probably since 2020 or so, the game really evened itself out. Way at the end of the game, it got down to a 3-point finish. Chicago having a chance late in the game, except they didn't call a timeout when they could have to get on the field, tie the game up. Mike, any comments on this game? Not getting that timeout called. I think what they were trying to do with what Eberflus was trying to do is he was trying to at least get to that next. If he had 2 seconds left, 1 second left, whatever it was after that pass was completed that Williams threw on the previous play, I think that's when he wanted his timeout. It just didn't work in his way, and they lost the time. They lost the game. I think that's what he was trying to do. He was just trying to give himself that one extra little play squeezed in there to get a little bit closer.
Well, because like Caleb Williams said, he's like, I got the call from the coaches. Once I got the call, I started doing it. Then I noticed there's no time left. So he hurried up and he audibled into that deep pass, knowing like, okay, this is the last play we have, and it has to hit for the end zone. And if the guy would have caught it, in stride, it would have been close. It'd been like the reach against Tennessee and versus what the Rams in that Super Bowl have been really close. But Eberflus, my God, that was like it was horrible clock management.
I would have called timeout just to fire that guy.
Well, he saved that timeout for to get home and use that timeout with his family at Thanksgiving to get some more time with them. Apparently, this guy's an idiot. How he was not fired like immediately after the game? That was just poor clock management. Like it was like some of the worst might be the worst I've ever seen. That's not hype either. That is just just poor.
That Eberflus, he's already on the hot seat anyway. Correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For how it ended last year. Yep.
Let's get to the next game, Finch. I'm going to come to you on this one. Dallas and the Giants, two pretty bad teams. I guess the Cowboys could work their way back into things if they really play out well here. The Giants have been officially eliminated from the playoffs yesterday by taking that loss. But the Dallas Giants game, to me, guys, was just a Thanksgiving game to fill time while you're filling your stomach and taking your nap. Anything about this Dallas Giants game that sticks out to you, Finch?
Yeah, I found the halftime performance was really nice.
Who was that? Who's a country singer?
Yeah, some girl.
Badoozy.
No, he did the Detroit one. My bad.
Nah, it was.
That's what I'm still
Haley,
thinking. I'm thinking of the guy
Haley
that did
something,
the country song.
And then they brought out Jelly Roll, and Jelly Roll did a little.
Okay, I did see Jelly Roll.
And I'm not like a big country music guy or anything, but I thought it was good, and it was definitely the best thing about the entire telecast. Because otherwise it was trash. It was just a stupid game.
And that was
said it
theme.
before. It was just
because in Detroit,
game. I didn't care. I fell asleep.
It was a fill-in.
I was eating a turkey.
It was Thanksgiving. People were eating. Yes.
Usually, what that Dallas game is on.
It must have been. That must have been the theme was country music because was that gentleman. I don't know what.
Shabuzi.
Yeah.
Tryptophan.
But I do know that there was a bunch of cowboy-looking girls out there at one point dancing around. It all kind of runs together. I don't recall which game was which, but the Dallas
Cowboys won.
Cowboys did win 27-20. They did win that game, 27-20. And then
the sun did not get anybody's eyes. CeeDee Lamb dropped a couple passes in that game, And there was no sun, so I don't know what his excuse is this time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Finch, you were the only one that did take an L.
Putting it out there.
Finch, you were the only one that took an L
that one,
yesterday.
though, when he was trying to get... Yeah.
But there's a lot of games left, so I wouldn't get discouraged. Plus, the other two are pretty bad at this, so I like your chances. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say that CeeDee Lamb one, though, when he did drop that touchdown pass, that sun was right in his eyes. It was like looking at a solar eclipse.
Excuses.
Yes. I like CeeDee Lamb, even though he is on the Cowboys, so I'm willing to stick up for my guy.
Finally, guys, the game last night, the Green Bay Packers and the Miami Dolphins, the one that I really couldn't wait for, just because you're so used to seeing Detroit and Dallas every Thanksgiving. I like that third game now. It gives you a little bit of it breaks up the monotony a little bit. The Green Bay Packers, to no surprise at Lambeau Field, take down the Miami Dolphins 30-17. Miami they have a long way to go. It don't matter if Tua is their quarterback. It don't matter if they have Tyreek Hill. It don't matter if they have Jalen Waddle. It just don't matter when you leave South Florida to play football. Anytime that it is right now and beyond, the Miami Dolphins just don't win. Guys, any surprises in this game yesterday to you that the Miami took the L to Green Bay 30-17?
None whatsoever. Like you said, if it's not 75 and sunny, they don't know how to play. They are a soft team. Like Green Bay, a couple of their guys were saying, them boys look cold. They don't know how to handle the elements other than, if it's 90 degrees and the other team's sweating out. They can't beat a team on the road in cold weather, and they can't beat anyone with a winning record. This team they're a fraud year in and year out.
They are a joke. They're a blemish on the face of the NFL. Dolphins are a stupid animal. I can't.
Wow.
I'm surprised they didn't lose by more. I'm surprised that Green Bay didn't put up.
Let me ask you guys. I always kind of had this feeling.
My man went out and attacked.
I don't hate the animal dolphins. Like I don't want to kill them or anything. I don't want them to get caught in nets. I don't want to eat them. Let them live their lives. I just think that out of all the animal team names, that's probably the worst one.
The least masculine, and then they don't have exactly. They don't have.
It's not even about masculinity. I mean, come on, Cougars, like a team called the Cougars, like Blackhawk Cougars is more. And Cougars literally what we associate with a woman nowadays. It sounds.
But it is a
ferocious
feline, though.
Yeah, that's true.
The worst thing I've ever heard about a dolphin attack was somebody getting raped by a dolphin, and I don't even know if that was real. Was how many times you've heard that in your life?
That
is a thing. Yeah,
they will. They will. A skull fuck a puffer fish.
I think we should just drop Miami out of the NFL, put Alabama in their spot in AFC South. It would be more entertaining. Nick Saban would finally be back in the NFL, and everybody will be happy.
It fits perfect. They would be in the South. It's Alabama.
SEC would be better off. Yeah, it'd be great. Roll Tide.
The teams in the SEC would be complaining because their competition numbers would go down with the Dolphins in the conference. So there's no surprise.
Easy wins for those guys. Easy wins.
Absolutely. Again, those were the 3 Thursday games. Today we have a big one for us for the Steelers here. Raiders at Chiefs today at 3:00 p.m. This game could affect us, and it will affect us because the number 1 seed will either go up another half game or will bring us 1 half game closer, depending on what happens. The Chiefs are due. However, I thought maybe the Lions would have been due. You have these thoughts and these speculations, and oh man, if these guys beat these guys, this is going to help us. And but you know what? As I'm watching the Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears game yesterday, and you're just starting to watch the Lions look like a Madden team. I mean, they just couldn't be stopped in the first half. 16-0 totally did not justify what was going on in that football game. And again, I believe that it should have been a wider margin when it was all said and done. But you're just watching the difference between a top team and a lower echelon team in the NFL. It's almost impossible. I mean, it happens. You do get upsets. Guys, Raiders, Chiefs today. Finch, I'll start with you. Not so much as do you feel that it could happen? What would it take for the Raiders to pull an upset off today against the Chiefs in Arrowhead?
It's hard to say. I mean, the Chiefs are just a better team. I don't think it can happen. I mean, it certainly could, right?
Raiders beat the Ravens. I just want to throw that out there. The Raiders did beat the Ravens this season.
Yeah, and the Browns beat the Ravens too. So what of it? You know what I mean?
Right.
The Ravens just are, or excuse me, the Raiders just aren't a very good team right now. It would take literally like Pat Mahomes to not be on the field at all. And I'm not suggesting injury or anything. If somehow their defense manages, or excuse me, the Raiders offense manages to get 40 minutes worth of time of possession, maybe they could win it. That's probably what it would take. But that's the only thing that's going to keep the Chiefs from winning is if Pat Mahomes is not in the game.
Mike, anything in this game that could happen that could lead the Raiders to a victory? Something that could have us all here in Western Pennsylvania smiling tonight? Anything you see?
It would take a Herculean effort from Max Crosby if he can totally take over the game, exploit the weak tackle play from the Chiefs, move him around. I know the Chiefs picked someone up off the waivers who's supposed to be a decent tackle that they're going to plug in there because their rookie tackle's struggling. But it's going to take Max Crosby to take this game over, which he has before against them. But then he'll run his mouth to Mahomes, and that wakes Mahomes up, and then they get their ass beat. But they have beat them in the past, but I don't see Aiden McConnell beating this team. And Steeler Freak saying, that Chiefs O-line is suspect. Chiefs defense isn't what it was last year, but it's still pretty good. But I don't see a way the Raiders can upset them. But however, it has happened in the past where the Chiefs do get upset by the Raiders. That's just a thing that happens, man. It's divisional opponent, man. It's like
Or
lose to
Mike,
the Browns. You hate it.
Or was it we stated the past couple of days on the show? The New England Patriots were a juggernaut for 20 years, yet the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins found ways year to year. I mean, it wasn't many, maybe one a year, two a year for those teams. But you know what? Those teams generally find ways. And as you said, Mike, they know that team better than anybody else, as we know the teams in our division better than anybody else. Guys, let's get to the game that matters.
Real quick, I think Pachenko is back this week for the Kansas City. He hasn't played since week 2. So if he can come back, if he is playing and if he's healthy, that's going to strengthen their run game. And I think that's going to help their passing game as well because they're down to like wide receivers 3, 4, 5, and 6.
That's what I'm saying. At some point, something's got to give with this team.
I know, right? Something.
Guys, let's get into the only game that matters. This game is going to be 1 o'clock on Sunday at Cincinnati. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be invading the what's the stadium called over there, guys? Paycor?
Paycor.
We'll be invading Paycor Stadium. All the Yinzers, I know all the Yinzers will be making the trek over. It's a short trip, guys. A couple things, though. I do want to wish today happy birthday to our quarterback, Russell Wilson. Today is his birthday, guys. Give him a big shout out and a big happy birthday wish. He's another year older and another year experienced, guys. Maybe this will help our run. We are only, remember, 6 games away from this season being over. Unbelievable, in my opinion, guys. Only 6 games. But, guys, a couple concerns that I have here. Good morning, Ralph. Good morning, John. Good morning, Field. I don't want to forget anybody. Good morning, all. Happy Thanksgiving and happy Black Friday to you as well. Does everybody hear me?
Yeah, I do now. Anybody? Yeah. You dropped out for.
Yeah, something cracked real loud, and then I couldn't hear you guys. Let's see. One of my concerns, guys, is this: Trey Hendrickson. We were talking the other day about our offensive line being, porous at best. Trey Hendrickson for the Cincinnati Bengals is the NFL league's leading sack leader. He has 11.5 sacks. He'll be facing off more than likely against Dan Moore in this game. Mike, is Dan Moore going to be enough to neutralize Trey Hendrickson in this game, enough to keep him out of the backfield? Because, again, when we played a dominant rusher, as we did last game against Myles Garrett, you've seen how that played. 3 sacks, first half. It could go pretty bad, pretty fast. Mike, can Dan Moore neutralize Trey Hendrickson to keep him off our quarterback long enough to make plays?
He can, but I think it was Artie Smith said in his press conference, our backs and tight ends need to do a better job this week and when they go to chip. He said, and the film shows it too, our backs and tight ends weren't getting a good initial chip on Myles Garrett. And if they can get a good initial chip on him this week, that's going to be be huge, and that's going to help Dan Moore, because Dan Moore he holds his own against those guys, but those guys are, I think they are a step above Dan Moore, and Dan Moore's developed into a pretty good left tackle, well regarded around the league. But those guys are elite pass rushers, so he is going to need that help. But so that's going to be, I'm putting Broderick Jones on that side most of the time, most of the game. He's going over there, get a chip in, and let Dan Moore finish him off, and then hopefully that's enough. Passing downs, I'm sorry, Najee, you're coming out. Jalen Warren, you're coming in. And whatever side Trey Hendricks is on, you're going to line up over there. So that way you can – Jalen's really good at sliding over and catching guys coming up the middle and the opposite side too. But I'm putting all my protection on that side, the way teams do to TJ Watt. Put all your protection to that side and go ahead and do it. I don't know, Ralph. Dan Moore is becoming a very good left tackle, and he leaves here. I predict he's going to make a lot of money.
This, of course, guys, is the third AFC North matchup for the Steelers in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, just 2 weeks before this coming Sunday, we played the Ravens. Then the short week against the Browns. Now we had a little bit of an extra time come out for help us out a little bit coming into this game. But guys, still, no matter what, it's in 2 weeks. 3 AFC North teams. It's all coming back now. We didn't see one for 11 weeks. Now we're getting them all. We get the Browns again next week. So, guys, this is leg 3 of 4 on this 4-game AFC North stand for the Steelers. Finch, let me come to you on this. Now, Mike talked a little bit about Trey Hendrickson. Is there anything else on this defense that Cincinnati has going on that should concern us, in a sense that you would game plan the way that you guys were, saying, let's chip Hendrickson, let's do this, let's move guys around, make sure we have running backs. Is there anything else on this defense from Cincinnati that you see that's a concern for the Steelers? That could be something that could blow us up, as Myles Garrett did, as perhaps Trey Hendrickson did. Anything that you see, Finch, that we should be concerned about?
No, I believe Cincinnati's defense is not very good, and they're a little more of a one-trick pony. So I think that if we can keep Hendrickson out of our backfield, if we can keep him contained, and more importantly, if Russ Wilson can get rid of the football in a timely manner, and that also depends on our receivers getting open, which shouldn't be a problem. George Pickens should be able to see some open field today, or this weekend, I should say. So as long as our offensive line can stay shored up and Russ can get rid of the ball in a reasonable time, we should be all right. I think we can pick them apart.
Mike, any reason to believe any reason to believe we'll see Mike Williams this weekend?
Until I see him out there more, I'm going to say no. I don't think they're going to play him a whole lot, and I don't know why. Like, he started a lot last week against Cleveland, then he just kept getting phased out. They need to get him in there more. I know they like using Skoranek in there when it's obvious rundowns, but put Mike Williams in there so the teams aren't keyed into that. Hey, this is a run coming up. Yeah, put him in there.
We're gonna wait till we're out of a high playoff spot. Maybe when the Ravens pass us, then we'll start trying to improve our team and playing Mike Williams. That kind of seems to me like it's more likely. Mike, why is that?
I don't know, and I've been trying to find reasons online and looking at articles, looking on Twitter what the reporters are saying, and they're not saying anything. I haven't seen it like him being banged up, him being a slow learner, which we saw in that first game. He wasn't supposed to be out there. He knew his assignment. So I don't know why. I literally do not know why he's not out there.
And a good thing, guys, just to say, back at the beginning of our show, there's a video that plays. You notice even on that touchdown pass Russ throws to Mike Williams, he had no time at all. It literally came on Russ's experience and his arm being what it is. He dropped back. He wasn't back 2 steps. There was already guys in his face. He chucks it down there. Mike Williams catches the ball. So, that really plays into what we've been talking about a lot lately, is the offensive line and how far it may or may not carry us over this next 6 weeks into the playoffs. A couple things about the Bengals, guys. They come into the game generally healthy. They had a few guys miss practice this week on veteran days off, like Cam Hayward takes all season, but they're generally healthy. I think Burrow's on there, but he was practicing. So it was a bunch of this, give your guys a break. We, on the other hand, there's a possibility who participated fully in practice on Wednesday, guys. Montravius Adams could be a big addition back to this offense. Also in his 21-day window, who falls in the same category as Adams, Corey Trice. He participated fully on Wednesday. Alex Highsmith, he's still a question mark. Guys, getting these three guys in for the last 6 games of the season against the Browns, against the Bengals, the Browns, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, having guys like Montravius Adams, Corey Trice, and Alex Highsmith healthy, how much of an advantage does that give us with opposed to not having these guys available?
Well, getting Alex Highsmith back is huge. That is a huge addition. So now you can't just slide all your protection to one side. You can't just put 3 people on Watt, 2 people on. Okay, you do that. You're going to put Alex Highsmith 1-on-1. I'll take that all day. Now you got to shift over to his side. Now you're getting Watt in more favorable matchups. Oh, now we can move Watt around. Now that we have Highsmith back on that side, we can put Preston Smith or Herbig over where Watt is. Watt can line up in the middle, rush that way, drop back into coverage that way, confuse the quarterback, confuse the offense. That's huge. Montravius Adams, that's going to be a good one right back there. He is a key backup. He valiant starter when we picked him up off the Bears practice squad, 2-3 years ago, now settled into a key backup role at nose tackle. That's what I'd like to see, because now I think you put him in at nose every once in a while, slide Keanu Benton out if Ogunjobi needs a break, and then Cam on the other side. That would be a nice rotational piece right there, so you're not losing a whole lot when Benton comes out. I think Montravius Adams is so much better than the other backups we have. That's huge. Corey Trice, still a project, but I liked in the limited time we saw him. We liked what we saw from him.
That body available.
And the Steelers love what they see from him. But his worst ability is availability, because he's always hurt. And I think that's going to hurt him in his career, because teams are going to like what they see from him, but he can't get on the field. But when he's on the field, he makes plays, and that's going to be huge.
So that was the optimistic side of the injury report, guys. So also leaving practice on Wednesday with a hip was Keanu Benton. Keanu Benton left practice on Wednesday with a hip, and also KZ missed practice with an illness. Yeah. So with the the positive that we're seeing that could possibly be getting back in the lineup between Adams, Trice, Highsmith, Benton right now is questionable, and also KZ as well. If this defense gets healthy, which I think that this defense needs to be healthy, because down the stretch, our offense is certainly it's improved, no two ways about it, but there still is issues. Again, the offensive line, and the fact that we haven't went out and got a number 2 wide receiver. Did I just say that? We did get a number 2 wide receiver, not available to us. Guys, I feel that this defense has to be healthy through the stretch into the playoffs in order for this team to win. This is the backbone of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's been for many years. It changes none now. We have a pretty average offense. Safe to say, we got good players in places, but I think that this defense needs to be at full health and playing to their full ability if this team wants to be successful through the rest of the season. Finch, am I wrong? And if I am, where at?
No, I mean, the defense for 3 or 4 seasons now has been the standout group of this particular Pittsburgh Steelers team. And right now they are probably playing the best that they've played in those few seasons, especially even with Watt. His numbers not really coming through. I think a lot of it does come down to not having someone on the other side. I mean, when you got 3 offensive linemen or 2 linemen and a tight end just spying Watt every single play, holding Watt all the time and not getting called for it as well. Let's not forget that's a thing. Used to happen to James Harrison. Now it happens to Watt. Used to happen to Watt's brother. They're just so good that they're game-changing players, and it'd be good to have someone on the other side like a Highsmith to come in and just finally even out our defense a little bit. So now that we've got people back, the defense can take care of business. Maybe we don't give up that end of game touchdown that has bitten us in the butt a couple of times this season.
Can I ask you guys both this? And I listen, and I know this is a topic that goes way beyond where we're at right now. But is it any surprise to you that every game comes down to the last drive of the game for you, or do you guys find this just a bit odd since the league jumped into bed with Vegas a few years back, and there's been some changes around the league? I like to think that shouldn't matter either. A good defense should get the job done, but doesn't the drive at the end of the game always seem to be productive until the very end, until it gets to the field goal, until it gets to is this just me speculating, guys, or is people seeing this and I'm just crazy?
I think it's definitely worth speculating, right? You see a lot of questionable stuff happen in the NFL week in and week out. But you also we're looking through the eyes of Steeler fans.
Right.
And it's not a unique phenomenon to our team, but it's also not a completely widespread phenomena either. I mean, every week there's a bunch of games where somebody's getting beat up, right? There's some blowouts here. Look at the Lions. They're blowing people out every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Green Bay just blew out Miami. I mean, I don't think it's quite as rigged as everybody says it is, but to say that there aren't certain people in the NFL making kickbacks, is ludicrous. Remember the NBA got in a lot of trouble for that a long time ago with referees.
That's all I want to know.
I just want to know that I'm in the NFL.
I just want to know that I'm not isolated. And again, I'm not going to sit here. That's a longer show. I mean, if we were getting into the conspiracy theories, but again, it's something just certainly, as you said, it deserves some speculation. So, guys, that's just something that I caught. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the rest of the season will go, the way that football used to be for 50 years. But remember, maybe every game will go down to the fourth quarter, the last drive, like they have. And I don't know. Anyway, you slice it, guys. We are, I think, a half game underdogs in Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. So, gamblers, maybe the game again. With that number in mind, watch what the final result is. You kind of do your own homework at the end. I do want to say also he did join us in the morning. Good morning to Mark Malone. He says, I heard Corey Trice and Montravius Adams were back to limited practice yesterday. I guess they practiced. If they did, that is great news. So let's hope they did. Let's hope we can get a full defense, because I got to tell you guys, this Cincinnati offense is probably the best offense that we've faced all season when it comes to passing the ball. Is there anybody that back in the beginning of the year, Bo Nix, who's probably leading, I would think, rookie of the year. I'm looking at these other quarterbacks. He's the most successful at this point. He wasn't passing the ball great. Mike Finch, is this the best offense we've faced as far as stopping the pass? And is that going to be difficult for us? Because, once teams start picking the Steelers apart, it always seems like it's very difficult to get our feet back under us and turn the tide.
It's going to be the second best pass offense. Surprisingly, it was Baltimore. Baltimore was the best passing offense in the league. Lamar he leads the league.
But you look at the receivers,
for receiver wise, player wise.
If you look at Joe Burrow's numbers, what he did against the Ravens in the receivers, this is the offense I'm talking about. Let's talk about this Bengals offense, guys. Can we stop this passing game of Joe Burrow?
I think we can. I'm looking at time to throw. A lot of the quarterbacks we've been facing recently have been quicker than Burrow getting the ball out of there. He holds it for a tenth of a second faster than Jameis holds it. A tenth of a second, 13/10 of a second faster longer than Jaden Daniels. So that will give our pass rush to get to him faster. And he's under pressure 31% of his snaps. That's one of the worst mid-tier in the league. But we can get pressure on this guy. The amount of pressures overall, he's been pressured 142 times. That's fifth worst in the NFL. And so we should be able to generate pressure with our four guys. We might not have to send five. I hope we don't have to send five to help us in the pass game. And pass defense. So if we can get pressure like teams have been getting on them, I think we can handle this passing attack. Jamar Chase scares me. T. Higgins doesn't scare me. Their tight ends don't scare me. I just take away T. Higgins. Put three guys on him. I don't care. Do what you have to do, or on Jamar Chase, excuse me, so no one else beats you. I don't want to be looking up and seeing Jamar Chase with 3 touchdowns, 400 yards, like he does against the Ravens.
And that's certainly a possibility. And it's funny, Mike, because you kind of put me in mind of there. You ever see when the younger brother is starting a fight with somebody, and he's like, "My older brother, he ain't afraid of you. He'll kick your ass."
Yeah,
and the older brother's thinking, "Well, you talk. What do you tell? That's kind of. I'm not afraid of Chase. I'm not afraid of Burrow." They are very talented. There's reason to be concerned, guys. That's going to be my big concern here. You know what? Amongst a few, again, the offensive line, are they going to be able to hold up against, keep Trey Hendrickson out of the backfield? But stopping this passing game, guys, this is certainly the best passing, I feel, offense that we faced or seen all year. This is going to be a big test for us. But again, you have to have these games in your schedule because once you get in the playoffs, you're going to be facing Buffalo. You're going to be facing teams that throw the ball very well. And even for what it matters, the LA Chargers, guys, Justin Herbert, I think he was hurt when we played earlier this season. You're going to see a guy over there that throws the ball around well. So, we have to get in that rhythm of facing teams that throw the ball well. And this certainly falls in that category. But the one thing, guys, that we should certainly be afraid about is this. The Bengals will wear their winningest uniform combo. They always do this against the Steelers. Ooh. They always try to mix and match their home uniforms. Remember, they went with the all white the one year, and they was like, this is the opening game against the Steelers. We're going all white. There's no way they could beat us, and we beat them. Guys, they are going with their orange jersey, black pants. This is their winningest uniform combo that they have. I kid you not, this is a real thing. They're wearing this because they feel that this will help beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are they just delusional in Cincinnati by now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Very delusional.
Yeah. I mean, we feel good here when we get to wear our block numbers or we get to wear throwback jerseys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Is there any psychological?
We don't say that we're going to win.
Right. There's no psychological thing to this that says, you know what, we're wearing these uniforms, we're going to play better? Finch?
No, not at all. I mean, it's just as dumb as saying, oh, I've left my hat at home and the Steelers lost because I didn't wear my hat. It's the exact
You cannot make me get up from my spot on the couch during a Steeler game. That's all I'm saying, but I'm going to leave it right there.
No, all I'm saying is when I storm out of wherever I'm watching the game and I seclude myself, we play better.
Okay. And you know what I do? I know that to be fact. I know that to be fact. That's true.
I know. Let me live in my delusions.
You didn't watch them win the Super Bowl? You weren't watching when that happened?
No, I mean, he was in the closet.
I was watching, but I was away from it. I was away from everyone. That's a different story.
You guys remember the movie A Bronx Tale? That guy they made go sit in the bathroom when they gambled? That's Mike. He's that guy.
That's Mike?
Yeah. Guys, a couple things here. A couple side notes about the Steelers. Peyton Wilson was second amongst linebackers over the past 2 weeks, according to PFF. Guys, do what you want with your PFF information. You know how we do how we feel on the show. But, guys, Peyton Wilson over the past 2 weeks has scored a 91.2 collectively and is the second best linebacker in the league over the past 2 weeks. Is this a sign of things to come for Peyton Wilson? How do you see Peyton Wilson fitting into this defense moving forward? As the season goes by, we might have to sign, we might have to re-sign, these guys might be leaving. You guys see Peyton Wilson as possibly being that guy in our defense one day?
I don't know.
I'm undersized, but he's everywhere. There's nothing the guy doesn't do well.
Are you going to start?
He's going to be a great depth player. I mean, he's just one of those guys. It's going to be a depth guy. A master. What do you call it? A jack of all trades, a master of none. He does everything pretty well, but he's not outstanding, or at least he hasn't proven himself yet. Maybe somebody goes down and he fills in and he really takes over a role. He has the physical capability to do it. It's just a matter of will he get that shot here in Pittsburgh, and is he going to be that guy? But as of right now, he's what you want to have in that second tier defensive player, someone who can do it all and do it all reasonably well.
I like the way they're using him, and if they go forward using him that way, I have no problem with that. You have Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts. He might be getting long in the tooth of Landon Roberts, so you go out and you find yourself another run-stuffing middle linebacker, and then on obvious passing downs, you go Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson. And then he can... I just keep using him like that until he shows he can be a run stuffer, because Patrick Queen's not a run stuffer either. I'd rather have someone out there who can be like an on-ball linebacker, be that traditional thumper, kind of like a Vince Williams was. That guy that will just sit there and plug the hole and let everyone else do what they need to do. That's the role Landon Roberts taking. I think we're going to have to find someone to replace him eventually when he leaves. And then Peyton Wilson, like Finn said, is going to be that depth player, that role player that you can move around that defense.
Guys, all right. So we're gonna get into the over and under keys to winning. Let me give you a quick rundown first on what the weekend schedule looks like. Of course, in the AFC North, the Bengals, they do host the Steelers. The Baltimore Ravens host the Philadelphia Eagles, which is going to be a big game. That is a 4:25 game on Sunday, and then also Monday night is the Browns taking the trek out to Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. Also around the league, you had the 3 games played yesterday. Of course, the Raiders at the Chiefs today. Sunday, you have the Texans at the Jaguars, the Colts at the Patriots, the Chargers at the Falcons, Seahawks at the Jets, the Titans at the Commanders, the Cardinals at the Vikings, the Rams at the Saints, Buccaneers at the Panthers, and 49ers at the Bills. That game's on Sunday night. Guys, let's get back to the Steelers. Before we get into over-unders, Finch, what's your keys to winning this football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday afternoon?
Once again, it's Russell Wilson making plays. We need him to really step it up again. Like he looked good in the second half against Cleveland in the snow. I mean, he stepped it up and made some plays that could have won us the game. We need to see that guy. We need him, not the guy that played in Baltimore a few weeks before that. We need Russ to take over. We need him to get rid of the ball quickly, make snap decisions, quick plays. And I think the defense, we might have trouble with Jamar Chase, but I think the defense will ultimately not give up as many points.
Mike, what's the keys to winning for you?
Me, when the Steelers have the ball, it's going to be a ball control offense. I just come across the stat. The Bengals have allowed 4.9 yards per carry and 9 touchdowns. That's fourth most and tied for third most to runs from under center. Just line up old school football and run it down their throats and then hit the play action to Muth, hit the play action to George Pickens, maybe Mike Williams, but just run the ball. And then when we're on defense, it's getting pressure on Joe Burrow. When another stat I saw, he holds on to the ball almost a whole second longer when he gets initial pressure. So if we can get a guy on him fast, he's going to hold the ball. That's going to, allow some of our front 4 guys to get to him, get pressures, get sacks, throw him off rhythm. I think this is a game the defense needs to blitz more. I know I was saying I'd like to see, only rushing 4, keeping someone else in coverage. Screw it, man. Send 5, send 6 occasionally. Make him hold that ball longer. Make him get happy feet back there and see if we can take advantage of them.
John said third down conversions and red zone TDs. How long can how successful can this team be?
That goes without saying.
How successful can this team be if we have to kick field goals instead of touchdowns in the red zone the rest of the season? I don't think you could be good enough, but somebody's going to beat you eventually. Also, Mark says, I think we should run into 9-man boxes over and over and over again. Surely things will turn out different this time. Guys, let's jump into the over and unders. This is going to be, it's going to be somewhat rapid, Mike. But I am going to start with Finch today. Over or under Finch, Russell Wilson, 1.5 touchdowns thrown Sunday against Cincinnati, 1.5 touchdowns. Finch, over or under?
Over.
Mike, Russell Wilson, 1.5 touchdowns thrown, over or under?
Over, and that will tie him for the most touchdowns since Ben Roethlisberger retired.
All right. Najee Harris, Finch, 0.5 touchdown ran, over or under? Najee Harris, 0.5 touchdown on the ground. Is he going to get one, or is he not going to get one?
I'm going to go under. I think that if anybody scores a touchdown on the ground, it's going to be either Justin Fields in some sort of trick formation, or I think Warren's going to have a breakout game. I think we might see Warren do something.
Mike, Najee Harris, 0.5 touchdown. Does he get one or no?
No.
All right. George Pickens, Finch. George Pickens, 0.5 touchdown catch. Over or
he's
under?
Getting one.
He's getting one this week?
He's getting one this week.
GP.
Oh, yeah. GP, GP is due. He's going to go over.
He's hungry.
All right. This one is, I was going to bring this up a little bit earlier about the late, as of late, Washington getting a lot of catches and youth, kind of average. So I'm going to start with this, guys. Pat Freiermuth, Finch, 3.5 receptions. Does his numbers stay low and he shares them with Washington, or does he have one of his better games? 3.5 receptions this game, Finch. Over or under for Pat Freiermuth?
I'm going to go over. With the Bengals pass rush being pretty darn good, we're going to see a lot of open middle of the field, those short 4 or 5 yard plays that Freiermuth just up. And I think we're going to see him see a lot of those short possession gains.
Mike, Pat Fryermuth, 3.5 catches. Finch has over.
Like,
I'm taking the under.
Okay. A quick explanation before I move on, or you all right?
No, I'm just taking the under.
Okay.
I'm just not feeling it because, like you said, what's Washington's getting more and more targets, and I think Russ is starting to spread the ball out more to more guys too.
All right, guys, that brings the brings us to the next one. Finch, Mike Williams, 1.5 catches. Mike Williams, 1.5 catches. Finch, over or under?
Under.
All
Unfortunately, under. But maybe that one catch will be a 18-yard touchdown catch or something.
Mike, you just said this yourself, Pat. Russell Wilson is extending his targets, going to more receivers. Brings me to this for you, Mike Williams, 1.5 catches. Mike, does he do it or no?
He does it. He gets.
Does it? He doesn't, or does it? Doesn't.
Does over
does it?
over.
Okay.
He gets. Does it? He does it.
I know you have your little tricks of never being wrong, so I have to question those kind of things.
I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over, baby.
Because it would have been doesn't if it didn't happen.
Okay, so exactly.
All right, guys.
Derpy up in this mofo.
Boswell, Finch, 2.5 field goals. Boswell, 2.5 field goals at Paycor Stadium on Sunday. Over.
I'm going under.
Under 2.5 for Bos. All right. Michael, over to you. Same question. Chris Boswell, 2.5 field goals against Cincinnati. Over or under?
It feels like one of those games. I'm taking the over.
Okay, fair enough. The last offensive question, last offensive over under. Finch, 1.5 turnovers. Our offense commits 1.5 turnovers. Is it going to be over or under against the Bengals? 1.5 turnovers committed by our offense.
Under. We've taken care of the ball pretty well this year. There's been some bad plays here or there, but for the most part, pretty good. So I think we're going to continue the trend.
Mike, last offensive over or under? 1.5 turnovers committed by our offense.
2, making a fumble. I'm going to take the under. I think we do turn the ball over once, but it's not detrimental.
All right, Finch, over to defense. We're going to hop on the other side of the ball, but we're going to stay with the same question. 1.5 turnovers caused by our defense. Finch, over or under?
I'm going to go with the over. Once again, our turnover ratio is one of the best in the NFL. Our defense is really good at stripping the ball. I think we have a chance to pick up a couple turnovers, and that may be the deciding factor in this game.
All right, guys, that leads me to my I'm sorry, Mike. Mike, defensive turnovers, 1.5 caused.
I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over, and I am calling it right now. Minkah Fitzpatrick will make a splash play. For some odd reason, he rises to the occasion against the Bengals, and one of them will be an interception.
Guys, that leads me to my next two. My next two over-unders. Finch, Watt and or Herbig. 1/2 punch out. Watt and or Nick Herbig, 1/2 punch out, over or under?
Under.
Okay. Mike, Watt and or Herbig, 1/2 of a punch out, over or under?
Under.
All right, interesting. And my next question, guys, for over or under, Minkah, a game-changing play, 1/2. Does Minkah make that play that we've all been waiting for Minkah, maybe for the past 2 seasons almost? Finch, 1/2 of a Minkah play, we'll call it. One that we you know the plays. We haven't seen one quite some time. Does he get that play this week? 1/2.
Sure. Let's say he does. Yes.
All right. Mike, same question to you. Minkah, does he get that play? 1/2, over or under?
I'm taking the over. I'm calling it interception. I like Steeler Freak's question.
Go ahead.
Over or under, one red flag or clock management mistake from Tomlin. That's the easy money right there.
Yeah, I'm taking the over.
I'm taking the over all day, every day. Come on now.
All right, let's see. TJ Watt.
That's why I'm well compensated.
Finch, TJ Watt, 1.5 sacks, over or under? TJ Watt, 1.5 sacks, over or under?
Under. I don't think he's going to get more than one.
Mike, 1.5 sacks. TJ Watt, over or under?
I'm taking the over. I'm calling it a 2-sack game for TJ Watt.
All right, couple more left here, guys. Nick Herbig, a half a sack. Finch, half sack. Does Nick Herbig go over or under? Or you can even push a half sack. Nick Herbig. Jeff, what do they do?
Nah,
over?
I'm gonna go with the under. I don't think Herbig's gonna have a sack type game. He's just gonna stay home and do well where he is. He's gonna stop some runs, and I think he'll be all right.
Mike, Nick Herbig, a half sack, just like you, a half sack. Is he gonna do it or no?
I told you that in confidence. I showed you that in private.
Well, I didn't show anybody the pictures. I just talked about it. All right, Mike.
Push
on the half sack.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Just two left here. Just three left. Joey Porter Jr., Finch, a half of an interception. Joey Porter Jr., half an interception, over or under? Talking about do. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do it, but I don't think this is the game.
Mike, Joey Porter Jr., a half an interception.
The modern day Ike Taylor, I am taking the under.
Okay. Two more. Finch, Deshaun Elliott, 5.5 tackles.
Ooh.
It's a pretty big number, but he's been crushing lately, right? So, yeah, give me the over. Give me the over on Elliott.
Mike, Deshaun Elliott, 5.5 tackles.
Yeah, that is high for a safety, but like you said, man, the way he crashes down into the box, give me the over.
And finally, Finch, one half of a devastating injury. I don't have to explain what this is. We see it over and over and over on this team for at least the past couple of seasons for sure. Finch, a half of a devastating injury, over or under?
I railed earlier about superstition and how I'm not really into superstition when it comes to clothes and stuff, but I don't want to wish any harm. So let's say under.
Okay. And Mike, finally to you, a devastating injury, one half. Is it going to be more or less?
Under.
Okay.
Today, this will be the game we come out completely healthy.
I hope you're right. I hope it's a good visit to Cincinnati. Guys, going there, getting a win, coming home healthy would be huge, especially because we're coming back home to play the Browns again next weekend. And then after that, guys, it's the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs. So, it doesn't get any easier from here. Let's get the win, come home healthy. Let's focus on these Browns and move forward. Guys, that is the over or under for the game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Going to go through a couple things here, Mike, before we do jump into starting to wrap things up. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they play 2 games this weekend. They play tonight at the Bruins. That game starts at 6:30. The Pittsburgh Penguins come into the game with an 8-12-4 record, while the Boston Bruins are 11-10-3. On the second leg of their weekend, the Flames actually visit us tomorrow. Calgary's coming to town to play here in Pittsburgh. The Penguins game between the Flames and the Penguins starts tomorrow at 7. The Pittsburgh basketball team takes on Ohio State today at 2:30, a half hour before the NFL game starts. If you want to flip over and check this out, Pitt is 6-1 going up against Ohio State at 5-1 at Ohio State. Pretty interesting game for the Pitt Panthers in college basketball. College football, you have the Pitt Panthers traveling to Boston College to wrap up their regular season tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Maryland is traveling to Happy Valley to take on the number 4 Penn State tomorrow at 3:30. Texas Tech is traveling to West Virginia tomorrow at noon. And finally, a big game between the Michigan Wolverines and the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think this one's going to be a little lopsided, where the Michigan Wolverines are not quite the team that they were last year when they won a national title. That game is at noon tomorrow. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinjures.com. Check it out, everyone, especially if you're new here coming through. We have links to all of our social media and to the Discord. Check it out. We got the merch store, the blog. Check it out at the2dumyinjures.com.
All right, guys, let me grab a couple of these messages here. I don't want to leave anybody out. I'm going to start with Field of Steel. Steeler D1 game versus Ravens versus Browns. Coach lost it. Sunday, it's a Steelers offensive turn to win the game. I'd like to see that. Also, Mark Malone says, I ain't running. Running the ball. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I ain't against running the ball. Don't get me wrong. But, man, can they not check out those runs once in a while? John also says one red. Okay, you got that. Mark Malone says Watt is due to pull another Hulk Hogan out there. And What's that?
Said he got to do something out there.
Absolutely. And then John, I said over for sure on one of the over or unders. Guys, we do have one more Bengals trivia. For some reason, I thought after Thanksgiving things were going to change and it was already going to be Browns. And I made that comment on Wednesday. I apologize. But yes, guys, today is one more Bengals question until the end of the season when we wrap things up against the Bengals. Guys, this is the question of the day, which is a Cincinnati Bengal question. Finch, Mike, put on your thinking cap. Guys on the board, everybody at home, here we go. Which quarterbacks beat the Cincinnati Bengals in their 3 Super Bowls? Everybody knows that the Bengals went to 3, lost all 3. I need to know the quarterbacks of the 3 Super Bowl wins against the Cincinnati Bengals. Take a minute to think that over. We're live right here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. All right, guys, the question of the day. Which quarterbacks beat the Cincinnati Bengals in their 3 Super Bowls? Mike thinking hard. He even took a moment to stop eating to think, so you know he's thinking hard.
Yeah, for that, I'm going to drink now.
Finch is writing.
I like to write my answers, especially if there's multiple ones, because I don't want Mike to think that I'm
I get it.
His, because he tends to cheat.
Yes, he does.
Wow, how the hell do I get this reputation?
Finch is a fast learner.
Oh, my goodness.
Finch just figured this out already. Something that took me 651 episodes to figure out. Finch has got it already. He's a fast learner. All right, guys. Question of the day. What quarterbacks beat the Cincinnati Bengals in their 3 Super Bowls? Of course, the Bengals are 0-3 in the Super Bowl. Finch, I'm going to start with you.
I think two of them stand out pretty easily. Joe Montana and Patrick Mahomes. But the third one, I couldn't remember if it was Montana again. And then I thought, wait a minute, didn't they lose to the Redskins? So I'm going to go with Doug Williams as my third. Mahomes, Williams, and Montana.
Okay. Mike, I'm going to come to you with the same question. On the board, Village Steel said Joe Montana, Jared Goff. Finchy says Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana.
Oh, not Mahomes, Goff. I'm so stupid, dude.
You can switch it. You want to Goff?
Stupid. Yeah, I'm dumb, dude. I don't know why I was thinking Mahomes. No, they're in the AFC. It's stupid.
All right, Mike. I'm going to come over to you. Which 3 quarterbacks beat the Bengals in their 3 Super Bowls?
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford.
Jim McMahon. I think he beat the Patriots. Yeah, it was the Patriots. And then Joe Montana. Why not?
All right. That's your final answer?
Final answer.
Finch got Doug Williams in there. John says Montana, Stafford, and Williams. All right, guys. That's your final answers. Here we go. Let's take a look at the answers and see if you're right. Which quarterbacks beat the Cincinnati Bengals in their 3 Super Bowl appearances? All losses, one in 1982, one in 1988, and one in 2021. In 1982, it was Joe Montana. You guys got that. Good job. 1988, it was Joe Montana. The first 2 Super Bowls were both losses to the 49ers. And finally, in 2021, of course, it was Matthew Stafford over Joe Burrow. So Montana, Stafford was the 3 quarterbacks to beat the Cincinnati team in their Super Bowl runs. That's the correct answer. But good job, guys. And you wasn't far off. You guys all seem to be one guy off. I think it was wondering if Montana won 2 or not was ultimately what was the
I don't know why.
Mike, anything for start getting ready to wrap it up, dude?
I got nothing, man. I can't wait for the game, man. So here we go, Steelers. Here we go. That's all I got.
What about you, Finch? Anything to wrap it up? We got a weekend, man. You got the Steelers. You got college football tomorrow. Some Penguins action. Anything before we take off, man?
The Steelers are the only thing I'm looking forward to this weekend, and unfortunately, I have to work during the game, so that's lame. So I'll have to record it and watch it a little later in the day. So But yeah, that's all I got going on, and had a great Thanksgiving, and the food was good, and I was happy with some football, and we're here. We're having a good time.
You're right. That is only 2 quarterbacks, but they're 3 losses. The question was which quarterbacks beat Cincinnati and the Bengals 3 Super Bowl losses, and it was Montana in 82, Montana in 88, and Stafford in 21. My thing is this, guys, big game today. Enjoy the 3:00 game. The Raiders visit the Chiefs. We're going to hope to get a little bit of help from the Raiders. Maybe just maybe they could pull a trap game upset over the Raiders or the Chiefs. I'm sorry. That game starts at 3:00. And then also all through Sunday in the Monday, guys, you have other important games after the Steelers play. You do have the Ravens and the Eagles, which is a huge game for us. And then ultimately Monday, the Browns and the Broncos, not just because of the Browns, but the Broncos. The Broncos be the team that we are more concerned about, I think, in that particular game. So a lot of good NFL coming out this weekend for us, guys. And again, Penguins, Pitt basketball, Pitt football. There's a plethora of good Pittsburgh sports to watch this weekend, but none bigger than, guys, of course, the big game at 1:00 on Sunday in southwestern Ohio against the Bengals. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out, checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you. Everybody on the board, I want to say thank you so much. You guys always keep things interesting. There's no two ways about it. And everybody at home, I want to say thank you as well. Mike, I think that's it, my man.
The Bears did fire their head coach as of 11 minutes
ago.
Eberflus is gone. There was an article.
They should have had him fired by 11 last night, but go ahead.
Dude, there's an article today I just read. It was like, he's confident he will be coaching in week 14. Apparently that was misplaced.
That just keeps happening in Chicago now, right? In the last 5 or 6 seasons, they draft a really good quarterback, real high potential, high ceiling. And
I expect them to be here in 3 years, baby.
Rolling door of coaches and coordinators. So no wonder they can't keep it together there. You know
it's comical. It is comical.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, guys. But yes, as Phil still says, here we go, baby. Big weekend where this win goes a long way. It really does. Who would have thought a game over the Bengals in the midseason? But you know what? This game is huge. The Bengals are 4-7. But you know what? At the end of the day, we still got to get the win. You still got to get the win. You see what happened with the Browns. You got to focus. Hopefully there's not going to be snow. Hopefully it's not going to be a snow globe. We could go out, play football, and impose our will on them and win this game, come home with the victory. Finch, anything else, my man? Mike, speak now, forever hold your peace.
I got nothing.
All right. John says, thanks, guys. No problem. Thank you. No derpy boom. Fan. It does hurt. It does hurt when there's no derpy boom. But soon enough, my friend, we will have Derpy. He'll be booming, and we'll all be right back here. Do check out a lot of these things this weekend because, of course, Monday we'll be here back first thing to talk about all this, mainly the Steelers, but a whole lot of Pittsburgh sports coming at you. We hope that you join us Monday first thing. Besides for that, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Steeler game. Stay safe. Mike kept his eating to a minimum today. I like that. So things are happening here on the show. But I do want to say thank you to everybody once again. Have a great weekend. For Finch, for Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Go Steelers.
Go Steelers.